Hi everyone, it's Sue with Capstone Leadership Solutions. Hey, I'm out in the sunshine today. It is beautiful for this edition of Framework in 5. So the topic you selected today was top of mind tactics. And so in 5 minutes I'm going to share the what, why, how of top of mind tactics. Oh, and the when too. So here we go. So the why of top of mind tactics. So when we want to be a great organization, we need to set high standards for how people behave and perform and set goals that we can all contribute to be great. But if we set those goals, if we set those standards, if we set our job task standards and protocols and policies, and we get those all nicely in place in writing, but then we go silent on them, then there's a high likelihood that employees, individuals won't adopt them. And so for standards to actually come alive, be used consistently by all, it's a long-term investment and process to diffuse them in an organization. So large groups, we have to keep these standards top of mind for them to actually come alive and stay alive. So that's the why we need top of mind tactics. So what should we keep top of mind is really an important thing because we have lots of policies, procedures, standards, goals. So we have to really focus in on what's most important so that we just don't have all this noise and busyness related to standards, that we really focus on what's most important. Especially if something's new or revised as a standard or a protocol or a goal, it's good to bring that top of mind. If it's something where we need to refresh, re-inspire it, that's a good subject for keeping it top of mind. Maybe we realize that people have stopped doing it, or they're not doing it as often or consistently or as well as they could or should. So then we can, that could really be our focus of what to keep top of mind. And also in our individual departments, we might have some unique opportunities or struggles with certain standards. So top of mind tactics, bringing that out, talking about it, making sure that it's not forgotten, the why and the how is not forgotten, is a strategy that we can use for top of mind. So that's the focus of top of mind tactics, is what's new and revised, what needs to be refreshed, re-inspired, and also what might be our unique opportunities that are problematic or we're struggling with. And how do we do it? We usually put it in two buckets: train and campaign. When a standard, such as a new protocol for how we do our job tasks, a new behavior or positive communication standard like managing up, things like that, if it's something new, then the top of mind tactic actually is probably in the bucket of training, where we need to train. They need to know why and they need to know how. And when we have to teach people the how, that usually involves training where they learn and also practice the how. But when we're keeping it top of mind to refresh, re-inspire, elevate, continue to diffuse long term, then oftentimes we just need little reminders or cues that remind us that, oh yeah, I got to do this. Oh yeah, I got to keep doing this. And so it's really important to think about the how later on is really probably around truly top of mind and less training, but more just campaigning and keeping the standard top of mind so we don't forget that it is something we're supposed to do. So some of the tactics we can use to do that, to keep it top of mind, might be pick a standard a month or a goal a month and weave it into everything. So really go after it in many directions. So if you have a daily huddle, talk about it in your huddle. If you do rounding with employees, ask about it in employee rounding. If you do thank you notes, write thank you notes very specific to that. If you have a newsletter, put it in your newsletter, those kind of things. So think about all the things you do right now to communicate and think, how can you weave in the standard of the month to be top of mind? And we can do it that way. So job task performance, behavior standards, positive communication standards, goals, keep them top of mind by all these things you do and just narrow in and focus on that one thing each month. And when should we do this? The when part I think is just as important. So when we should do it, of course, is when it's new. So the newer it is, or if it's just revised, we might need to do it, have lots of activity right away. But also we have to think about long term when we should do it. So for instance, an organization where I worked, we had standards for how we provided nursing care, and they were so important to the great results we were getting that every single year for more than 10 years, we kept them top of mind through very specific targeted activities. So even though it wasn't new and shiny and people weren't familiar with it, it was still important to think about when should we do top of mind tactics, focus on it, remind people, talk about it, and do that on a regular basis so that it doesn't go away. Because that's the problem, guys. If we go silent on our high standards, if we go silent on our goals, then there's a high likelihood that they won't be alive, they won't be achieved. And so keeping them top of mind, talking about it often, taking all of those tactics that you already have and weaving into it, how can we bring in the conversation and keep it top of mind about these important standards and these important goals? So there you are, guys, top of mind tactics, the who, what, when, and how. Bye-bye now. This will be the hard part, shutting it off. That might be a funny ending to that, because I don't know if it